Good evening and welcome to the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Today is October 26th. Sorry, looking at the wrong. Yes, today is November 23rd, 2021, and I'm calling this meeting to order at 6 p.m. Is there any conflict of interest? That's the first item from any of the commissioners up here at the dais? No? Seeing none?
None from staff.
Any from staff? None from staff? Okay. Next item is approval of the minutes. Do we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes?
I make a motion, we approve the minutes.
I'll second.
We've had a first and second to approve the minutes. Can we have roll call?
Board Member Bennett?
Yes.
Board Member Guerrero?
Yes.
Board Member Muniz?
I wasn't in attendance.
So you abstain?
I didn't hear. Abstain? Yes, abstain.
Board Member Vega?
Yes.
Board Member Gordon?
Yes.
Chair Thomas?
Yes. Thank you. The next item is postponements. We have an announcement first in that area from our director, Larry Nichols.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. For the record, Larry Nicholas, Community Development Director. I'm requesting a motion from the P&Z Commission to reschedule the special use permit on case number 21Z010000105 until January the 25th, 2022 meeting.
And when do you want that postponed until?
Yes, Madam Chairman, postponement until the P&Z meeting of January the 25th of this coming year of 2022. The reason for the rescheduling is that we need to send out additional notification to the area of the special use permit, and we need that has to be done to allow for the 30-day notification, and so we can't do it for the December 25th meeting, and that's why we'll have to move it to the January 25th. That'll give us the 30-day notice requirement.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to reschedule the Hickory.
All right, I'll make a motion.
Wait just a minute. To the Hickory, what's it called? It's Hickory Drive. To the Hickory Drive special use permit case until January 25th, 2022.
All right, I'll make a motion that we postpone case number 3, the 1018 Hickory Drive special use permit, till January the 25th.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion up here? Can we have a roll call?
Board Member Bennett?
Yes.
Board Member Guerrero?
Yes.
Board Member Muniz?
Yes.
I need you on the microphone, please.
Did she hear?
She said yes, but not on the microphone.
Yes. Yeah, that's
Thank you
what
very
I was
much.
doing. I don't know why I'm having problems with it. That's what I was doing, pushing it.
Yep, yes,
Board Member Vega?
yes.
Thank you. Board Member Gordon?
Yes.
Chair Thomas?
Yes. Okay, well, I want to say to the people that are here, I'm sorry that we have to postpone this, but we have to abide by the amount of days that it has to be advertised. So you'll see a new sign and you'll get new notifications, and it'll be moved to January 25th. The next item is public participation. This is for anyone who's here to speak about something that is not on the agenda. If you're here for something on the agenda, we'd like you to wait until that item comes up. So is there anyone here who's wants to speak about something that's not on the agenda? Do I see a show of hands? No one? Okay. Then we'll move on to the consent agenda. Can I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda?
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda. Can we have a roll call?
Board Member Bennett?
Yes.
Board Member Guerrero?
Yes.
Board Member Muniz?
Yes.
Board Member Vega?
Yes.
Board Member Gordon?
Yes.
Chair Thomas?
Yes. Now we'll move on to new business. The first item is Spitz Street variance request. The way we do this is we have a motion and a second so that we can discuss it. Then we have a staff presentation. Then if anybody connected to the property wants to say anything, they have an opportunity. Then the commission discusses, then we go to public comment, and then we come back to the commission and vote. That's our way we handle these. So I need a motion and a second to approve the Spitz Street variance request.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Spitz Street variance request, item number 1 under new business.
I'll second.
Okay, and we have Vincent Benegas to give a presentation. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair, Commissioners, Vincent Benegas, interim planner for the record. This is a variance request involving the address 2719 Spitz Street, case 21 VO 050093. Current conditions for the property as addressed, as specified just a second ago. It's a single-family residence, 1.79 acres in size, plus or minus, and it is currently zoned R1A, which is our single-family medium-density residential district. The house was built in 2003, and on some of the maps you may have seen in your packet, there are accessory structures that exist on the property, a workshop and a couple of carports and a pool, but all structures comply with current code requirements. So this is a case that is seeking to be allowed 2 dwelling units on the property. In the R1A district, you are currently only allowed a single home, and there is an existing home as indicated on the property at present. The second structure, the casita, as the applicant is calling it, will be constructed if approved this evening. This map is a zoning map of the property and the surrounding area. The property in question is highlighted in red. As indicated, R1A is the zoning for the property, and you do have R1A zoning predominantly in the neighborhood, both north and south, immediately north and south of the subject property, and due east along Spitz Street, Dine Avenue, Cielo Vista Court, etc. There are in essence, two distinct developments there, all single-family in nature, some patio homes, some your typical single-family home. And elsewhere in the area, you have O2 R3 zoning, you have commercial zoning further south, and some R2 zoning further east, or west, I should say. Here's an aerial map showing the property in question. Again, it is developed, and properties immediately south are developed to an extent, and properties due north are not. So you get a mixture of potential development in the immediate vicinity, and again, as indicated, single family to the east, and you do have a mobile home park, or parks, I should say, here along El Camino Real in the southwestern area, and of course some apartments due south adjacent to El Camino Real. As indicated, the variance is seeking to be allowed 2 dwelling units. The request stems from the fact that the property is of adequate size to request that. The second unit, or the casita, will be approximately 660 square feet in size. I think one of the maps will illustrate that it's 600 square feet, but I think that didn't take into consideration perhaps the porch and that type of thing. But maximum 660 square feet overall, and it is to be used by a member of the family, in this case, the daughter of the current property owners. The casita itself, in terms of access, there will be shared access with the main dwelling, and parking will be shared as well. There is a carport that will be adjacent to the proposed location for the casita, where the daughter will be able to park. The casita development is indicated by the applicant. When they place that structure, they will do everything in their power to retain the natural landscape buffer along Spitz Street and use materials in the construction that are at least similar to those on the main dwelling. I will discuss the natural landscape buffer here in a little bit, and you'll see it's quite substantial, so there shouldn't be any problem in doing that. The applicant justifies the request as follows. First of all, in various phone conversations with the applicant, Ms. Trin, we looked at the existing dwelling and tried to come up with an approach that would allow her an accessory dwelling unit that is authorized or allowed in our zoning code. It would allow that use more or less as a standalone unit within an existing home. The home is a rammed earth type of construction, and in looking at the alternatives that were available, we looked on top of the garage, we looked at modifying the garage area. There's a lot that would be involved, moving of pipes, et cetera, new construction, et cetera, et cetera. And so we kind of ruled that out due to cost factors. Also, we looked at subdivision as a means to get the casita on its own property. Of course, as we know, that has some cost factors as well. And so we began to look at the various processes, a third option, which is being taken this evening. Again, the casita is to aid a family member who suffered quite a bit in talking with the applicant as a result of the recent fires there in California and unemployment due to COVID. So trying to get a new start with family and get going in that direction. The lot is definitely large enough to accommodate the additional dwelling. I'll be showing you a site plan that illustrates that. And again, the buffer screen, as indicated by the applicant, will be maintained to the extent possible. And it will also shield quite a bit of what you'll see in terms of development on the property. This is a modified site plan showing part of the property in question. This is the main dwelling. You have a pool, sorry for the blurriness of the aerial, but you got a pool here. You got basically a carport, workshop here, and another carport at this location. This little box in yellow is where the applicant originally had them draw the potential location of the casita. Again, it's shown here that it's 20 by 30, but overall it won't exceed 660 square feet as indicated. It will be able to meet a substantial distance from the main dwelling. It'll easily meet the required front setback from Spitz Street. And so really all we're talking about is the allowance for an additional unit. This here along the southern portion of the slide, this is the shared access that I've referred to. It is currently the driveway that the current property owners use to gain access to their property. This is just a site plan showing the survey. It was an older survey, Xerox several times, and so it was a little difficult to enlarge and show the location of the structure, hence the previous version of the site plan. Here's a couple of photos. Now these are Google photos, so they may not show existing conditions, but pretty much what you see is what you get out there. This is a shot looking head-on to the property in question. You can't even tell there's any development beyond there. I had to take this, pull this image just to show the angle and show that there is development. This is that driveway in question, and you see some development here, structure here, and part of one right there. And then this is looking various directions along Spitz Street, both north and south, just to show you what is adjacent to the property in question. Notice was sent to the surrounding property owners, and staff received no input or inquiry to date. So no one's opposed it, and so here we are. Staff recommendation and findings. We recommended conditional approval in that the proposed casita would be subordinate in size. That's one of the condition. We've illustrated that that would be the case. That the architectural style and at least materials used for the casita be reasonably compatible to the main dwelling, and that much of the natural landscape along Spitz Street to be retained. So those were the conditions that I have no doubt the applicant would find acceptable. The findings for the decision by staff or recommendation by staff is that the property is definitely large enough to accommodate the proposed use. It would retain its subordinate nature to the main dwelling, and obviously we're trying for compatibility. Assuming that you would be able to see it, the buffer will definitely limit any visual impact development would have on folks along Spitz Street or driving along Spitz Street. Monetary considerations, as you know, as a whole aren't allowed to be considered for justification for variance. However, when the alternatives cause considerable monetary hardship in the strict application of code requirements, they can be used. And in this instance, it's not often, but in this instance, a variance of this nature is supported by the Elevate Las Cruces Comprehensive Plan, in that the use of the casita will help achieve alternative housing styles and missing middle housing for at least that property, in that there will be 2 units as opposed to the single unit. If approved, the action would not be contrary to Section 3810K, which is a criteria for decisions of the 2001 Las Cruces Zoning Code, and that, of course, references the monetary considerations there. So your options this evening, Commission, is to vote yes and approve the request as presented, vote no and deny it. Should be noted that if you do that, make a motion for denial, that you include any findings of fact that are different than those that I presented, in that those I presented are in favor of the request, and that if you apply any conditions, you could vote yes with conditions, and if you apply any conditions, you could use those that staff has provided or any that you deem appropriate. Failure to include any conditions in your motion will mean that no conditions were applied. So, and that concludes staff's presentation on this case, Madam Chair, and I'll be happy to stand for any questions. The applicant is in attendance and is able to speak to any issues.
Do any commissioners have questions for Mr. Venegas? Does the applicant wish to say anything?
Thank you, Vincent. You're welcome. Just speak as close to the microphone. Thank you. I just want you to know that Vincent has been a help through this process.
I have to have you swear and affirm before you can speak. Is that okay?
Oh, okay.
Do you swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
And then could you state your name?
My name is Paula Trin. I live at 2719 Spitz Street, Las Cruces.
Fine, go ahead.
Okay. I just want to say Vincent has been a real help through this process. You know, I've never applied for anything like this before. And when we built the house with Soledad Canyon, they, of course, took care of everything. So it's been an interesting process. I want you to know that the casita will not be a visual impact from Spit Street. There will be at least 15 feet of heavy mesquites, as you see along Spit Street there, and the front door of the casita will face inward. So my daughter, who's in the audience, will drive in, park in the carport, and have her little casita there. And hopefully live there a long time and help me as I get old and gray. So I appreciate it. Do you have any questions?
Anybody have questions for Ms. Trin? No? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
And now we go to public. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to say something? Okay, seeing none, come back to the commission. Anybody up here want to comment? Okay, guess we're ready for a roll call.
Board Member Bennett?
I vote yes based on staff recommendation. Site survey and the variance will meet Elevate Las Cruces.
Board Member Guerrero?
I vote yes as well, based on site drive, and it meets recommendations from staff and Elevate Las Cruces as well.
Board Member Muniz?
I vote yes, and as long as they follow all the codes and keep it updated. And Madam Chairman, this is to help a relative, right, who's going through a bad time. Yeah, I think we're going to see many other cases like this come along. As long as it fits in the neighborhood, and it'll be fine. So once again, I say yes.
Board Member Vega?
I vote yes based on staff recommendation. It meets the scene middle housing for the area and based on site visit.
Board Member Gordon?
I vote yes based on staff recommendations with the conditions. My site visit, it does comply with Elevate Las Cruces, and I think the purpose for which it's being built is very admirable, and I hope that your daughter will enjoy living here in Las Cruces.
Chair Thomas?
I vote yes based on staff recommendations and Elevate Las Cruces, and also because we need a lot more of this kind of housing in this city in order to deal with all the people who can't afford housing. This is happening all over in Washington and Oregon. It's a state law in Oregon that you can build accessory dwelling units. California, so I've just been out there looking into doing the same thing on my son's property. He's pretty familiar with this. So I'm glad we have a model now, and we can hope we can do more going forward. Thank you. Okay, our next case is a 950 Calle de Encanto, a variance request. I need a motion and a second to approve.
Commissioner Guerrero will make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the Calle de Encanto variance request, and we have Mr. Menegas again.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair. Slight variation. It's still a variance request, but this does involve 950 Calle del Encanto, case 21VO05000096. Current conditions on the property, location I just identified. It is a single-family residence that was built in 1954, so it's a little dated, but nonetheless kept up very nice. It sits on 0.214 acres in an existing subdivision that, at least in terms of our information, our data information refers to Casa Linda Acres 460 subdivision. And the property is zoned R1A, which again is our single-family medium-density residential district. The zoning map shows the property in question. It's outlined here in red along Calle de Encanto. You have Brown Road just to orient you to the north. You have Valley Drive to the west. and various streets, Circle Drive, et cetera, to the east. It sits obviously predominantly in an R1A area. In fact, the area immediately around it and further east is R1A. You have the fronting properties along Valley Drive are C2 zoning, which is our commercial zoning district in our code. And so there is a mixture, but a high prevalence of R1A zoning immediately surrounding the subject property. Aerial map shows that all the properties, for the most part, that I see anyway, are developed. You do have car dealerships along Valley Drive, but they are at least buffered from this property by a couple of sets of rows of housing, and that's the general makeup of land use around here. So a lot of commercial and a lot of residential. So what is the request? Well, in this case, the request involves the side yard setback. It is a variance of 4 feet 8 inches to the required 5 feet for a side yard setback in the R1A zoning district. It's in order to accommodate a carport that would otherwise have to meet that 5-foot setback because it is being attached to the main dwelling. And the proposal is for it to be made out of metal, 4x4 posts. It's a substantial metal. It's not just those less substantial carports that we have seen out there made with fabric, et cetera, for shade. This one is going to have R-panel roofing. It's going to have 4x4 posts and beams in order to support the structure, and it will be attached to the main house. The size of which is about 192 square feet in area, and due to the proximity to the side yard in terms of the setback, fire department, when they conducted their review, indicated that they'd have to be made out of non-combustible material, which is fine, and that the applicant is seeking metal for the construction material to be used. The justification for this variance or request is quite simply the carport that exists for the property is not adequately sized for 2 vehicles. It is a home that's of older construction, and they had single car carport designed within it. So the lot width is simply not wide enough to accommodate the carport without the setback request. The climate that we have here in Las Cruces, as you all know, come July, August, it sizzles a little bit. And so they're looking to not only protect their vehicle from the elements, but try to help shade it and keep it cool and thereby lasting a little longer. The carport itself, as in discussions with the applicant, will have a color scheme that's similar or complementary, I should say, to the existing home in hopes of minimizing visual impacts. So this is the site plan in question. You have Calle del Encanto here, and you have an existing driveway to the existing carport, single car carport in this location here. What is being proposed is location of this proposed carport in this location. They will be meeting the required 25-foot front yard setback because they want to retain access as shown here, a little walkway. They are looking to connect by establishing a form of breezeway with the same size members or similar members, metal members that will attach to the house. And so the 16 by 12-foot carport will fit, but only if this setback is authorized and acceptable. Now, these are just sketches. They're simplistic, but nonetheless, it's going to be a flat roof type construction. This is the side elevation showing the front of the structure, back of the structure, indicating 4x4 metal posts and probably beams being used with R-panel up top. And of course, a front elevation, again, just showing a basic construction type. Now, some of these are, this one here is a Google pic or scan. showing what used to be. The one on the right is showing more or less what has been modified. They have poured some concrete here, which is fine. Their sign is posted, but you see right laying next to the sign, the R panel, that's the roofing material that's to be used in the construction if permitted. So there's slight modification to what you see over here on the left, but nonetheless, the house is what you see is what you get there. And again, a couple of shots going both directions along Calle del Encanto, just showing you some of the flavor of the neighborhood. Notice was sent to the surrounding properties, and like the other variance case, staff received no input or inquiry to date. So from that perspective, things look good. The applicant did approach the adjoining neighbor most impacted by this request, and in talking with the applicant, the neighbor had no issue with that. They were not against what was being proposed. So again, conditional approval is recommended by staff, and one of the concerns we had is that the design, however it's laid out, particularly with the roof, that it would prohibit stormwater from falling onto the adjoining property. And due to the orientation of the roof, and in talking with our engineer who reviews some of these proposals and some of the plans, the discussion was satisfactory to our engineer, and they will be orienting the panel to allow flow onto the applicant's property, ensuring that it doesn't cause a problem for the neighbor. Again, the color scheme will be complementary to the existing house, and the variance as requested should only serve the purpose of the proposed carport and not the entire side yard, so we're limiting the impact should further development or construction on the property be considered. And the findings for this case is that the proposed carport meets the required front yard setback, and the remainder of the property appears setback compliant. Carport will blend to the extent possible with the dwelling, compatibility-wise. And again, the adjoining property owner did not oppose the request. The R panel orientation I touched on, that's a finding that I found. It'll retain stormwater on site, and no input opposing it. The request has been made. And if approved, once again, action would not be contrary to Section 3810K, criteria for decisions of our 2001 Las Cruces zoning code. Again, monetary considerations aren't applied as a whole, but if you look at the options available to meet the stated objectives of the applicant, and strict application of the code provides that financial hardship, then you can consider them. So your options this evening regarding this case is to approve the case, and deny it. If you deny it, please state findings that are contrary to what I've just presented and that they are in support. And you can vote yes with conditions. And again, if you use any of the staff conditions or your own, please include them in your motion. Or you can vote to table the request. And Madam Chair, that concludes staff's presentation. And I believe Mr. Thomas is in attendance. He's the applicant, and he's able to answer any questions you might have as well. And I stand for questions.
Are there any questions from the commissioners for Mr. Venegas? Yes, Mr. Nichols?
Madam Chair and Commissioners, Larry Nichols, Community Development Director, for the record. Albeit it has been covered in the presentation by Mr. Venegas, I would want to highlight to the owner, if the variance is approved, the carport will require a building permit.
That's correct.
The fact that it's over 120 square feet. So the variance would give you the zoning permission, but you would also need to obtain a building permit once you decide to construct the property. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, Mr. Nichols, in talking with the applicant, I did share that same information with him.
Does the applicant wish to speak?
Thank you very much. Okay.
Okay, I need to swear you in.
Okay.
Do you swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under penalty of law?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
And would you state your name?
Edward Thomas Jr.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay. Commission, thank you very much for hearing me, and I just want to thank you, commission members, for allowing me this chance to improve my home. Basically, I moved from Texas to here to Las Cruces because we love the area and we have family here. And the house that we moved from in El Paso had 2 carports. Well, it had a garage and a carport. I let my mom park her car in the garage because she's special to me. But I had a carport built at our El Paso home, and that's how, I protected my vehicle under the carport. And I'd like to do the same here in Las Cruces. I'm familiar with Las Cruces, and luckily I've endured some hailstorms, which are infrequent here, but still they happen, and relatively unscathed. But I love my little pickup truck, and I want to keep it. I want to shelter it from the elements. And the thing that concerns me is the hailstorms during the summer, and that's my main reason for adding this carport to my property. I want to improve my property. I want to make it look good. I want to blend in with the surrounding neighborhood, and so far all of my neighbors have encouraged me. So I feel privileged in being able to approach you and ask for this variance. And to your question regarding the permit, that's the next step, as Mr. Vanegas here has instructed me, and I intend to pursue that and comply with all parts of the law.
Thank you. I hadn't thought about hail, but that's a good point.
Yes, I've encountered several hailstorms
We
here.
do have hailstorms here.
Yes.
Any questions from the commissioners for Mr. Thomas? No, seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody from the public who wishes to make a statement? Seeing none, okay, we'll come back to the commissioners. I thought we'd be ready for a roll call.
Board Member Bennett.
I vote yes based on staff recommendation and site survey, as long as the carport is designed so stormwater doesn't flow over to the neighboring property. I see no problems.
Board Member Guerrero.
I vote yes as well, based on staff recommendations and site visit, and kind of the same concern too. I'm sure you and the neighbor have agreed on what it's supposed to look like.
Board Member Muniz.
I vote yes, and I like the idea that with this carport, they're going to paint it to blend in with the residents. It just won't look like a metal roof sitting up there on the property.
Board Member Vega.
I vote yes. I appreciate that you reached out to your neighbors to get there okay. I also have a truck that I'm very fond of, and the hailstorms have me thinking about the same thing. And then also based on staff recommendation.
Board Member Gordon.
I vote yes based on staff recommendations with conditions. My site visit, it does comply with Elevate Las Cruces, and I do understand your concern for hailstorms. I know when, fortunately I have a garage, but sometimes when I'm out, I can see the damage that can be done by them. So in that case, I definitely vote yes, and good luck.
Chair Thomas.
I also vote yes based on staff recommendations and a site visit, and it meets the objectives of the applicant. Passes 6-0. Thank you. So the next item got moved to January, so the next item after that is commission commentary. Anybody have any comments?
Just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Have a good holiday. Don't eat too much, and we'll see you all next month.
Harvey, you beat me to the punch. Y'all have a great Thanksgiving.
Commissioner Bennett, you have to push that button faster. I just want to say that next month will be my last meeting. Commissioner Flores is nominating someone else, appointing someone else. This person has a lot of experience with planning, and I think it'd be a good addition to the commission. So. And then are there any staff announcements?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Larry Nichols for the record. And commissioners, well, I'm going to be the third party to wish everyone here on the dais to have a blessed and enjoyable Thanksgiving. And, you know, we're at this time of the year where we begin to enjoy some of the traditional holidays. I would also offer just a few comments about the current zoning code update. We're calling it Realize Las Cruces. We have a consultant that has undertaken to help staff with that, and the update is on schedule. We've been addressing the various components of the zoning code, and one that's kind of before us at the moment is the subdivision section of the code. And we have involved the public outreach and involved a number of developers and builders in an ad hoc committee to help us update that code that will be workable for the city. And then lastly, I just want to pick up on a comment that Chair Thomas has just made. It's going to be difficult for us to see you depart the commission, Planning and Zoning Commission. Chair Thomas, you made a tremendous contribution. The city, the council, and in particular the community development staff has been a pleasure to work with you, and thank you for your sage observations and advice. And we're going to have to do something to give you a proper send-off. We'll do that. Thank you, Chair.
I'd also like to add just something that we have to remember. Because our meeting next month will be after Christmas, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. I want to get that in too. Also, I will say my comments for next month from Commissioner Thomas will be at her last meeting, but we will miss her.
Thank you. Thank you for all those kind words. I meant to retire some years ago, but then I found out that the city actually was going to do a new comprehensive plan, and that's what I ran on the very first time I ran all those years ago. So I asked Councilor Flores if she would appoint me to the commission so I could be part of doing the planning for the new comprehensive plan, and really have appreciated all the work everybody's put in, both commissioners and staff, and I think we have a great plan. So now it's time for me to depart. Thank you very much. I will entertain a motion to leave. Anybody want to do that one?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, we are adjourned.